Hello, everyone, and welcome to Academy on Air. My name is Logan Wellbaum, and I'm going to be your guide today on this magical journey of advanced measurement. A little background on myself. I'm a technical program manager here at Google. My role is to really break down the complexity of our ad products to make them simple for all of you to understand. I know we always do like a fun fact on here. My fun fact, as always, is I learned AdWords through starting my own business. So when you start your own business and use AdWords, you tend to learn this stuff pretty quickly. So I'm very excited to talk to you today about advanced measurement. And if you're with us for the past couple of weeks, you'll remember that we talked and we gave you this measurement framework. And we went through measure, attribute, and act. Okay. And 3 weeks ago, we talked about how you can set yourself up for optimization and attribution success by going through these best practices to set up conversion tracking in your account. Okay. And then 2 weeks ago, we talked about how complex the path to purchase really is and why you want to switch to a multi-touch attribution model so you don't allot all the value of the conversion to a single touch point, right? So if available to you, we told you and walked you through how to choose a data-driven attribution model. So I recommend you go back and watch that session. It was a great session. And last week, we talked about how you can act on this attribution data, right? And you're going to notice a few things when you switch to a multi-touch attribution model. You're going to notice, 1, a shift in conversions to your mobile devices, and 2, a shift in conversions to your more generic campaigns. Now, this doesn't mean that these campaigns are all of a sudden converting a lot better. It just means that they're getting the value that they really deserve, right? So today, I'm going to talk you through and show you how through a demo in our analytics account of how you can really show value of mobile to your clients, because people are constantly switching between desktop, mobile, tablet. And I'm sure a lot of your clients out there are saying, let's downbid on mobile. Let's opt out of mobile. It's not working for us. So I'm going to show you today how you can drive mobile urgency and, how to show you why mobile isn't converting. So I'm going to walk you through these 4 how-to questions today. And I'm going to, like I said before, I'm going to do a demo, and we're going to show you how you can create a data-driven pitch for your clients. So we have a lot of stats out there, and they do a great job, but when you have data in your pitch, it does wonders for your ability to really drive action for that client, okay? So I'm going to pull up my analytics account in a little bit, and we have a few more setup slides, but what I want you to do is pull up an analytics account for a client that can have the most success on mobile, or who wants to downbid on mobile or opt out of mobile. Okay, so you can just follow along with me as I walk you through these steps. So 1, and we have a few more setup slides, so feel free to pull out your computers and log into your analytics account. Okay, and again, we're going to be walking through these questions like, how do I create mobile urgency? But within that question, there's even more questions that you have to answer. And we're going to show you kind of how and what questions you should be asking so you can find these right answers, okay? And it's going to be a really good session. It's sort of teaching you how to fish rather than giving you the fish. So again, the path to purchase is very complex. People are constantly switching between Gmail, search, display, YouTube, even Facebook. They're going all throughout all these different resources, and they're switching between devices, mobile, desktop, mobile. So we know the path to purchase is complex. And we have these stats, like 75% of online adults start on activity on one device, but continue to finish it on another, right? I mean, you can tell your client that, but what is that really going to do for them? It could push them to opt more into mobile, but if you show them data in your actual account, it's going to be huge. Okay, and one more example before we hop into analytics. This is a great, easy visual for your clients. And what this will allow you to do is really show them the path to purchase. And this is in AdWords. You go to AdWords, you go to Tools, you go to Attribution, Cross-Device Activity, and then you go down to Device Paths. And there's a very easy graphic that you can show them here of, hey, all right, our top converting path is from mobile to desktop. So people aren't ending the conversion on mobile, but it is their researching phase. So we need to show up when they're in that researching phase, so they can eventually convert on mobile. And you can see here, or convert on desktop, and you can see here the other device paths, so desktop, 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 mobile, desktop, etc. So this is a great visual you can show your clients. Okay, let's get into the demo account, right? And we have these questions up here. What percentage of sessions are on mobile in 2016? So we're going to go here. We're going to go to the mobile overview section. And let's take out organic traffic. We don't need that right now. I was messing around with this a little bit earlier. Okay. And what we can do here is, this is a great tool that you can actually compare to the previous year. So you can show the percentage increase in your sessions and conversions, e-commerce rates, etc. So this is a great tool. A lot of people always forget that this is here, but this is a great tool to compare previous days so you can show your own performance. Okay, and right here again, I'm in the mobile overview section, and you can see here, okay, and this is showing what percentage of sessions are on mobile in June 1st, 2015 to July 1st, 2016 compared to the previous year. And we can see here that there's over an 800% increase in sessions on mobile devices. And we can see here also bounce rate is decreasing. We can see that pages per session, so engagement, is increasing at a faster rate than we have on desktop right here. So see desktop, mobile. We can also see, this is a huge engagement metric to show you that research is actually happening on the mobile device. So we can clearly see here that average session duration is increasing 8%, while average session duration on desktop is actually decreasing. Okay, so this is something that you can definitely look at in your accounts to figure out and look at why mobile is so important to your business. And let's get down to the bottom line. Okay, how much revenue is mobile actually driving for us? Well, it increased from $2,000 to $48,000. Not a direct impact of mobile. It's showing that the business is performing well. However, it did increase 2,000% year over year. And the amount of revenue that mobile provides for your business is only 3%, okay? But remember, mobile is growing at an exponential rate. So think of exponential as 2, 4, 8. It's doubling. Whereas if it was growing at a linear rate, it'd be a lot slower, okay? So when mobile is growing at such a fast rate, we really need to stay on top of the game and invest in mobile, because this change is already occurring. And if your clients aren't in the change, they're behind. So e-commerce metric is a good metric to look at. And even this is almost like a last click, right? You're looking at it, you're saying, all right, it's only 3% of my overall revenue. Maybe I don't need to invest in mobile that much, okay? But that's why it's so important to have goals involved, right? So when we look at something like, let's look at registrations. Registrations is a huge goal. And when you have someone register for your business or sign up, they tend to almost venture into that loyal customer stage. So it's a huge metric to have. And we can see here that mobile is growing at a very fast rate, and it's almost equal. It equals about 20% of the overall goal of driving a conversion or driving a registration, right? So looking at not only the e-commerce metrics, but your goal metrics of how mobile drives certain things is very important to your business. So not only looking at the e-commerce again, but looking at the goals. And going back to the slides, we can see here. So this is another example that I really want to walk through. And this is back in the slides again. And what we can see here is that all the way down at the very bottom, we're looking at that number 7. We're looking at, this is in analytics, and this is in the display reporting in AdWords. And we can see here on the left that interest and remarketing, same, campaign is the same, but the ad groups are different, right? And when we're going through and we're optimizing this, we tend to look at which ad group, which campaign, which keyword is driving the most conversions at the cheapest rate, right? And it's clearly not number 7. It's clearly not the one at the bottom, the Reebok campaign. It is driving, it's expensive, the CPCs average, and we've only had one conversion from this ad group. So in order to save money, we might optimize by cutting this from our campaign when we're looking at things like e-commerce metrics. However, like I said before, if we look at things like goals, like to, for example, create an account, all of a sudden, this becomes one of our most important goals. As you can see here, it's driving the most registrations or the most create an accounts versus any of the other ad groups. So when we look at goals, it's really almost that multi-touch touch point. It's almost that multi-touch model again, right? We're looking and seeing which ad groups, which keywords, etc., can drive things other than the bottom line. So this is a great thing to look at when you're trying to engage more users. So you can look at goals, for example. So this is a great way to figure out, I know this is an ad group example, but you can also apply the same concept to mobile like we just did. Okay, and I hope that makes sense. And I hope you all have goals included into your campaigns so you can see what is going on. You can see how people are moving throughout your website, what is making them sign up for certain things, what's making them click on a video. So goals are very important to have in your account. And here's just another quick report that we can see. So how do my mobile users from AdWords compare to the rest of my mobile users? And again, it's in the mobile overview. And we just add this default channel grouping dimension. And what it allows you to do is see how mobile is comparing for your organic search, for your direct, for your paid search. And you can optimize from there. We can see here that paid search has a little bit higher bounce rate. That's expected, right? People aren't directly looking for that business yet. They're not directly looking for your ad. So that's a little bit to be expected, but you can pull some great insights from this. Okay. Now for the question we've all been waiting for. Why isn't mobile converting? Why isn't it converting? We hear this all the time, and let's dive in. Let's answer these questions again and figure out why mobile isn't converting. Okay, we're going to go through these, but before we do that, you can find some great metrics right in your AdWords account. Okay, what you can do here is just look at the campaign. You can segment by device in your AdWords account. So you can go in, you can segment by computers, mobile, and tablets. And we can see here, all right, clearly all the conversions are coming from computers. However, when we look at an engagement metric like click-through rate all the way at the far right, the CTR metric, people are engaged on mobile devices. A 5.78% click-through rate, I believe the average for search is about 2%. So this is an extremely high click-through rate. And people want to engage with your business on mobile. And then they might go over to the desktop to convert, as we're clearly seeing here with this data. So mobile is driving impact. And you can find this data in multiple ways from AdWords again here. And this is the same screenshot I showed earlier, but I really want to stress this to you of how important this screenshot really can be for your clients and show them top device pass for conversion for their business. Okay. Another demo for why mobile is not converting. Let me pull up these questions again. So what are the mobile bounce rates for 2016, right? And again, I'm showing you these questions of how you find them. And like, this is based off my hypothesis. And, you know, it could be that why mobile isn't converting. Maybe we're not finding the right target audience. Maybe we need to improve our creative. My hypothesis for this example is the mobile site needs to be improved, okay? I think the UX is a little bit off, and I'm gonna look at data. I'm gonna ask questions around that hypothesis to be able to find these insights, okay? So let's look at the bounce rates. We're gonna go over here, and this is the last time we'll use this mobile overview section. And we don't really need to compare, but we can see here that the mobile bounce rate is teetering. It's improved a little bit, but any bounce rate over 55%, 56% to 70% is on the higher range. So anything over 70% is very bad, except if you're a blog or a one-page website. So again, this is teetering on the brink of pretty high bounce rate. Okay, and what was the other question? What is my mobile site speed loading time for those who convert versus those who don't? Okay, so we're going to go over here to the site speed overview. And we don't need to compare anything here. And what we are going to do is add a few custom segments. So we're going to look at a mobile converter and a mobile non-converter. And I'm going to show you how to create these segments, because what this will allow you to do is really be able to segment the data of like, what is a mobile converter doing that a mobile non-converter is not doing. And this will allow you to see like the right ads, which ads are mobile converters seeing, which landing pages are users most likely to be on, what age group, what devices are mobile converters on versus mobile non-converters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply this. And before we see the results, I'm going to show you how we can create these segments. So for a mobile converter, we go here, and you can just create these segments yourselves. It's very simple right in the interface. But I went all the way down here into advanced, and I went to conditions, and I want to make sure this is a pure converter. So I want them to be included, and remember, I'm using, you can use sessions or users. I chose to use users because users can have multiple sessions. Sessions can only have one user. So I chose to use users, and I want to make sure that the goal completions are greater than 0 and transactions are greater than 0. And I added another condition that the device category exactly matches mobile. Okay, so this is how I created the mobile converter section. And to do the mobile non-converter, same principle, same exact principle. But what we did was goal completions per user equals 0, transactions per user equals 0, device category exactly matches mobile. Okay, so same thing. And another thing, you can build these audiences and actually create remarketing lists off these certain audiences. So you can do much more advanced things like look at things like people who converted in the US versus those non-US people who did convert. So you can create great audience remarketing lists based off these. Okay, wow. So this is something that we can see here. So this is basically proves the hypothesis right here that mobile site speed needs to drastically increase. So for people who are converting, the average page load time is only 2.65 seconds. And for people who are not converting on mobile, the average page load time is over 11 seconds. Now, a common known stat here at Google is that for it's 95% of people who it takes over 3 seconds for a page to load, 95% of those people will leave the site and potentially never return. So increasing site speed and being there when it's most convenient to the user is extremely important, right? You can have the best ad, you can have the best creative, you can have the best targeting, but if the user can't access the website on mobile, none of that's gonna work. It's all going to go to waste. So this is a very important finding that we saw in it. Basically, if we go, average redirection time, it's all longer. Every single thing is longer for mobile non-converters. So that's a pretty huge insight, okay? Now I want to find a little bit about our demographics here. I want to see if this has anything to play. Okay, and we can just go back to all users for this. And what this report will allow you to do is really make sure that your ads are working and you're finding the right audience, okay? And this is for registrations. Let's go back here and check out e-commerce. It's always important to look at the bottom line. That's what everyone eventually always cares about, right? So we can see here, our main audience is ages 25 to 34. They're converting at a pretty high rate. However, ages 35 to 44 are converting at a much higher rate. And even surprisingly, wow, 55 to 64 is converting at a pretty high rate as well. So looking at this data will maybe allow you to expand upon a new campaign to find if you have a higher conversion rate for one of these than the other, maybe expand and create a new ad group for a certain age, or a new campaign for a certain age. And another thing that you can do is this will really help you. It's almost like a psychological thing where you can look at and see if the age is, if the e-commerce rate for an age is too low compared to these other ones. Maybe it's an issue with your UX design. Maybe it's too hard to convert on mobile. And we can see here that it is lowering towards as people get older, right? So maybe it's a UX, user experience design on the website that needs to change as well. And let's check out gender real quick. Maybe we need to adjust our creatives to attract more female customers here. Wow, yeah. So female customers are converting at a much higher rate than male customers, but male customers are spending more on this side. Maybe it's an average order value is higher, or maybe there's just more transactions. And there's definitely more sessions for males. However, females are converting at a higher rate, so maybe you can create some sort of seasonal campaign or some sort of campaign just targeting females. Okay, so these are some insights that you can really find with analytics. And going back to the slides. Okay, so we found that bounce rates for mobile are steadily decreasing, which is good, but it's still pretty high. It's around 54%. And again, anything over 55, 56 is gearing towards the high end. What is my mobile site speed loading time for those who convert versus those who don't? Well, we found that it's over an 8-second increase in page load time for those who don't convert. So that's a huge thing that we need to work with our client and talk to them and see how can we improve page load time for mobile sites, because a lot of this stuff that we're doing on the ad side won't work unless the mobile site's properly working. Which demographics convert better? Well, we found that they're pretty even, but we have some opportunities that we can really find with these insights. And what we didn't look at yet is, let's actually go back to the analytics account and look at, do we see any differences in conversion rates if we look at the mobile devices used by Android users? Okay, so maybe we can see here of where we can improve the mobile site. And you can go here and you can see which one's converting the best for revenue. We can see here that iPhone is driving a lot of revenue for us. Highest conversion rate is Apple iPad. Whoa, excuse me. The highest conversion rate is on Google Nexus, which is pretty important to look at, especially if you're trying to target certain types of phones. Okay, so this is just another insight that we can look at and find. And just a summary. So what we did today is we showed you sort of how to fish rather than giving you a fish. We showed you the right questions to ask when you're trying to create mobile urgency for your client and create that data-driven pitch. We showed you how to derive mobile business insights, and we showed you a little bit of why mobile could not be converting for your business and the subset of questions that you can derive from this first how-to. Okay, so I hope that was beneficial. I know it was for me. We could go on for hours about this, so I know we have a limited time, but this is something that I think will really help not only you to create better campaigns, but it will help you in your pitches as well. So this can be good to work with a sales rep. If your agency is that large enough, if you have separate sales reps, then your account managers, maybe you guys can work together and derive these certain business insights. Okay, so that's it. And time for some questions. That's it for advanced measurement. Time for some questions. Okay. First question, how do I add GA columns in AdWords? Okay, so again, yes, we should have covered this. You can add Google Analytics columns right in your AdWords account. And you do that in the AdWords interface, but the two have to be linked. So you have to link Analytics to AdWords, and you're going to be able to import certain columns like bounce rates, pages per session, etc. So you can see which ads are driving the most engaged users to your site, which ads could potentially be helped by a different landing page, etc. So that's a great question. What else can I do with custom segments? So what you can do with custom segments is not only really disperse your data and be able to look at certain subsets within your account, but you can also create remarketing lists with these segments and export that into your AdWords account, which will allow you to create remarketing lists off, and it's a great way to actually create those lists from your Google Analytics segments. Okay, here's one. Are there any segments or views that you would highly recommend using? Yes. So if we go back to the interface, a good segment to always use if you're looking at mobile versus other devices is to look at your mobile traffic versus tablet and desktop traffic. And what that is going to allow you to do is seeing, where you can look at your geo reports, you can look at your demographic reports as well. So I always use those two. But again, it depends on the business and the goal of the company. So if you're trying to drive sales, you might want to have different segments. If you're trying to launch a product, you might want to look at different data there. Okay. And that is, we have, cool. We have a few more questions, but that is it for time. I want to thank you today for joining this advanced measurement session. I know I had a lot of fun, and I hope you can drive some great business insights for your company from this session. I hope to see you again next time or next week on Academy on Air. Thank you.